force field.
So, hello.
Hello.
So, how are you finding the UK and Birmingham so far, apart from the weather and the horrendous traffic as you displayed on your Twitter?
Oh yeah, that was funny. Traffic today. You know, it's okay. I've been here many times. Take a picture of you. Haha. Get you. Yeah, it's fine. You know, I don't have to drive. The bus driver deals with it, so I can lay around and drink coffee or whatever. But I'm looking forward to tonight. Hopefully it goes well. Like, they do have awful. They've got the subwoofers just cranked in there. You know?
Yeah.
I made fun of the guy doing sound. He's like, well, blah blah blah. Well, those are on, but it does change radically when the crowd's in here. I'm like, yeah, but you guys have added all this shit in here, basically. You know, said we're not a fucking grime band. You know, they just add all those subwoofers to make it interesting for people when the music isn't interesting. I think. No. Adding all the ultra low end that doesn't even exist in the music to begin with. It's just a way to artificially move people with something that has no substance. See? Like, oh, this has an effect on you. It's like, oh, you're on so much E, isn't this great? Look at this. This fucking amazing music. It's just going. But whatever. Okay. So, that has nothing to do with anything. Anyways, yes, I'm looking forward to tonight.
That's the main thing, eh?
Yeah.
So, you've been on a massive tour this year.
Yeah.
From America to Australia, Europe, UK. How are you feeling?
Like,
and the band?
It's time to relax a little bit and work on the future instead of, you know, traveling and playing for a little bit, I think. I'm looking forward to that. My away time. To figure out who I am instead of you know, just playing some ideas that I made back a little while ago. You know.
You still trying to find out who you are?
No, what I'm saying is, as an artist, you sit down and you create what you're going to do next. You know. For instance, Andrew Lloyd Webber or something, you know, sits down and creates a new play and gets emotionally invested in that project. He's not so jazzed that Cats is still playing, you know, 10, 20, 30 years on. It's more about creating new stuff, and then you go out and see that through as a project, you know?
Yeah, exactly what you mean. So
in most things, it's like that, you know? Except if you're dealing with the English national team, they're still going on about 66 or some bullshit in the World Cup, right? They're just living that. They're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, it was coming home the last World Cup, and it didn't. Came fourth overall. So let's talk about music. You experiment with like psychedelic and shoegaze and garage rock sounds. So what bands or artists?
Well, you know what garage music is? It's when you had a garage and the means to have a band. You know, and all my bands started out in garages with carpet on the walls. So that's all that means. Garage music. Shoegaze, I don't even know what that means, because shoegaze evidently was either a term coined by a writer at either Enemy or Sounds, and the fact of the matter is neither of those magazines technically really exist anymore, nor the print media. So I'm not really interested about that. Saying that, you know, I just make music, you know. I do all kinds of things. I've made a symphonic record. I do soundtracks. So nobody can see me or my feet when I'm doing a soundtrack for a film or something like that, you know.
Big one recently, haven't you? To BAFTA. BAFTA.
Yeah, well, I did a soundtrack for Philip John, and I've got more meetings to do more of that stuff, which I would like to, do that. Um, it's just people don't really make a lot of films, I don't think, and everything's really caught up in this 360-degree marketing shit, you know. It's like they've rehashed Star is Born. I guess that's the current thing right now. And of course, Lady Gaga is the record, right? So it's like a vehicle for this other thing. It isn't just purely. Who even knows why they fucking made that movie? It's been remade several times, you know? It's just like a vehicle for her to sell records or something, and for, I guess, the actor to become a director, you know?
Yeah.
I think at a certain point, when you're a marketable person, the actual money in the entertainment industry doesn't exist. You know, don't really believe there's. I think Britney Spears said, "Wait a minute, I'm a fucking multimillionaire giving my money," and you saw her like freaking out, shaving her hair off when she found out you can't actually have that money because it doesn't exist.
Same with 30 Seconds to Mars.
Yeah.
They were. Well, I think they were sued for $30 million. Blondie never seen a cent of their money.
Yeah.
Either.
Crazy, right?
So I'm taking. Well, I know you said this in the past, but that's why you went independent, and I think you told
there's a lot
Tess
of
Parks
reasons
to get out of the contract or something.
Well, you know what? It's just like she signed one of the stupidest deals of all times. I think she doesn't make anything. McGee put zero effort into putting out her record, you know, and it doesn't mean jack fuck all to do a digital release, you know. But the minute I started putting out real records, and real money was changing hands, I'll be damned if he didn't license her first record out to a real record company that really presses records, and they've really sold them. And then she's stuck with that real contract where she really makes nothing off of those records. So it's just funny, you know. But whatever, you know.
Well,
which is fine, you know, because people can entertain the thought of, I don't know. It doesn't matter. I just think you should try and use every format that you can to express yourself, you know. And if there's anything that I've proven is that by sheer will you can figure out a way to do that. And money isn't the issue. You just have to be determined and use your brain, you know. I think.
no resourcefulness.
Well, I don't want to hear about people saying that they can't do anything, really, because you have to find a way, you know? You have to just figure it out. I mean, you have to just create your own environment if there isn't one that exists for yourself. You have to create the sort of reality that you need to function in, because otherwise you have to just accept your lot in life, I think. Sometimes it's more difficult for Europeans to understand that, and you really, the Europeans that truly understand that seem to be the immigrants. In many, from the example of America, I think shows you that, you know, a lot of people split from a total grim reality and sort of create their own thing, you know. America's interesting that way because you can crash and burn many times and find a way to like succeed. And that's the story, and it's kind of hammered into your head from early age.
Like you said, it's Hollywoodized.
Yeah, it's part of the mythology, but it's kind of the reality too. As you really learn a lot about those people doing that kind of stuff, you know, and you see it. But then there's also the snake oil, just scam artist reality too, you know, that's completely entrenched in everything, including the presidency of the United States. His whole company is just a front company for foreigners to invest in it. So his wealth is just basically a nameplate as a place for other people to park their money, so you're not going, fuck the Japanese, they're buying up America. or fuck the Arabs, they're buying up America. Or fuck the Russians, they're buying up America. It's basically this people buying up with this American success story's name on the front. And then he just basically keeps a flat in the building, but it's not his money.
No. Well, his business.
But that's been his whole
failed.
career. It's all just an illusion from the beginning. Because people were so shocked when everybody bought Sony TVs and all that money. In Japan, their trade surplus was so powerful that they were just, and our money is so worthless that they were just coming in and buying up America, you know. And people were, buy American, fuck those guys. So they created all these situations where like, oh, you're just buying American, you know. It's like the name badge, you know. It's like, oh, look at me, I'm successful. But really, it's foreign investors,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So you don't get the hostility of like, oh, they just bought the Chrysler building. They just bought this landmark. They've just bought this, you know. Whatever. Who cares, right? Because we're so far past anybody doing anything about anything. You know.
Mm. Yeah. What do you mean? Like, well, it's interesting that you mentioned Donald Trump because, well, he had those failed business, didn't he? So,
What?
like Donald Trump, he's kind of a failed businessman. And
Multiple times.
Yeah,
Multiple times.
Same with George Bush, George
Yeah.
W.
Well, but it's totally a different thing, you know? It's completely a different thing, I think. There's a whole business where people make savings and loans to fail, you know? Look, we just bailed. How many UK institutions did they bail out in 2008? Several.
Yeah, no, I don't think anyone's.
But those weren't built to be bailed out. But there's a whole thing with these savings and loan institutions where people did it, and it's akin to like, you know, one of the biggest industries on the planet now is hedge funds just buying up corporations and firing everybody and liquidating their assets. And basically, what they're doing is killing off the pensions, so that nobody, all that money's put in there, so they just kill the business, take the pension, just bankrupt the company, just go bam, you know. And that's big business globally. It's just like, oh yeah, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just a crazy thing. It's just a crazy thing that people do, or they leverage them, you know, like Toys R Us. They just bought into this successful business and just ran it right into the ground, you know. But whatever.
So, getting back to music.
Yeah.
Also the future. What do you think the future holds for music, especially rock music? If you've noticed the trend of rock musicians using electronic music, such as Jack White, for instance.
Well, I don't really think that's his best example of his finest hour in music, though. I don't think it's his strongest release. So,
Maybe,
I
I
mean,
think so.
he could do that. Do you think his newest record is his best record?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It's better than Seven Nation Army.
Oh, if you're just talking, I'm just talking solo stuff. But if you're talking,
Well, that is
like,
solo stuff because he's playing the fucking drums on that. That is his solo music.
I thought it was Megan. What's her face?
No, man, he is a drummer. She's a live entity. Megan, that's his ex-wife. You know, there's a big illusion about that kind of stuff. He just records that shit. He's not going to wait around for other people to do it. He did it. But I mean, whatever. You know, it's just like, how is it a trend, you know, rock music to use synthesizers? I mean, yes, use synthesizers. Lots of people use synthesizers. I mean, it's an ongoing thing.
But I'm just saying because rock's kind of had a declining in the charts, and it's not. I don't think it's.
Yeah, but what
not really
what are
relevant.
the fucking charts anyway? So I'm gonna give you an example. I put out a record, I don't know, a couple records ago, and I released it the same day as Rihanna. And Rihanna released a new record. Okay, she sold a total of 500 copies worldwide and went over double platinum. And she went over double platinum because she was paid $3 million or $6 million. I think it was $3 million or something by Samsung to have an exclusive release, and they released it a week early. They said, "Oops, we accidentally fucking released it." Everybody pressed the button. 1 billion people said, "I want to hear the new Rihanna," and those streams counted as sales. in the new paradigm. But the fact of the matter is, I sold more records than her in the world.
Physically.
I physically did. But I didn't, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it really is meaningless because they actually did that by just a scam, by just saying, "Oops, we accidentally released it a week early," and everybody's just like, "I want to hear it. I gotta hear it. Oh my god, it's out." So it was actually just a trick, just pure fuckery.
So you're saying that?
So what does it? What does anything even matter? Like the Beatles were number one, but the Zombies sold 1 million copies to their 225,000 for Tell Her No and She's Not There. So they sold 1 million of each one of those singles, but the Beatles were number one on both occasions. It's just pure fuckery, that exists because the Zombies weren't meant to be number one. The Beatles machine. There's like all kinds of examples of people being really doing cool shit. I think it's just I don't know. There's lots of cool things going on. Like it's like Levitation in Texas having 22,000 people watching us play. Like, who the fuck is holding a festival with 22,000 people in it like that? That's some wild shit. That's successful by anybody's standards, but it doesn't really register in the national consciousness because they don't. The way things are is the way they want them to be. It's like there's more TV cameras and film cameras and students, and actors and people that have written scripts, and there's more ways to edit, and then you can rent out cinemas and send a digital print, and then we have YouTube and Daily Motion and Vimeo, and we've got Netflix and all this. There's endless cable TV channels around the planet. You've got satellite and you've got all these different things, but we're making less movies a year than Italy made per month in 1967. It's obviously the way they want it to be, in the sense that if you go to Tesco's and you walk down the aisle, there'll be 40 meters of 2-liter Coke bottles, and it's not because they're anticipating a rush of 1,000 people coming in to buy a 2-liter Coke bottle. It's they're limiting your option as far as what you can purchase through marketing, and that's what's going on. For some reason, all Hollywood can do is these Marvel comic fucking bullshit. What does that have to do with anything? Do you think it's just like the hippies predicted, like that soon we would pass the year 2000 and enter the Aztecs predicted in their calendar that we would enter in the age of Aquarius, and this new consciousness would descend on the planet, and everybody would be stuck in fucking Marvel Comics land and need 11 fucking Iron Man franchises or something? See, it's just some bullshit that's being pushed on everyone, I think, which is nothingness, basically, I think.
I think it stops people thinking, don't you think? It's like with Marvel movies, it's you sort of just turn off your brain to it.
Well, what a convenient time to turn off our brain, because if we turned off our brain, then if we turned on our brains, we would go, oh my god, our leaders don't have any answers. Boy, this is a precarious situation we're in, I think. So this seems like the perfect time to turn off our brains. I mean, especially if you own property in Northern Ireland and a business, and you're worried about how you're going to fucking run your business because they can't figure out how to have a non-hard border or something, or stupid.
Yeah.
Go ahead. But it's all silliness, Because nobody can get down to brass tacks why they actually fucking had that referendum that nobody asked for, besides fucking dipshit dude.
Well, that's Raj.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason why they actually had it is because the UK does not want to pay for the European army, let alone their own army. They don't want to pay for that out of necessity, because it's obvious that America's pushing for a fucking showdown with the countries of the East. So the UK feels better off of just hiding under America's wing, meanwhile playing both sides of the coin with China. Like, oh, okay, let's be cool, you know, business, you know, good cop, bad cop. But it's obvious that's what they want. They don't want to fucking contribute to that. They're not worried about hotel workers and shit, you know, being here. That's just how they tricked everyone into. They have no idea how they're gonna fucking pick fruit here. Let alone now they're gonna have to import it. They have no fucking idea how they're gonna do that. Let alone clean all the hotels.
I doubt, like, once, you know, if they go, you know, Downey Bridge person will do that.
They're gonna have to.
Yeah, they're gonna have to, but they won't.
Job seekers. They'll just go, well, what are you gonna do, mate?
Yeah.
Job seekers. There you go.
Yeah.
There's the bus. Get down there and start fucking picking whatever it is. Strawberries, apples, whatever it is. But who cares, right? But anyways, enjoy your fucking comic book movie. You know?
So... Alright. So... What recent band have you been listening to? That's... could be mainstream, underground?
I like the Sound Carriers. They're a great UK band. They're gonna do some more stuff soon. They took a little bit of a break for a while.
Oh, yeah.
They're fucking very good. I enjoyed them. But I don't know, you know, I spend a lot of time in the studio working on stuff, so it's an economy of time. I can only listen to so much or create stuff, and I'm creating a lot of things, so that's one thing.
Do you ever feel burnt out? Because you got so many albums. I mean, I think this is your 18th one. There's something else, but you got EPs and you.
Well, I got more stuff coming. You know, no. I enjoy making music. It's better than watching comic book movies. Or playing video games. It's like, I know people that played video games for decades. They have absolutely nothing to show for it. It's like, so what if you could kick the shit out of a 6-year-old Korean kid online? Like, I don't fucking care. Like, pretty soon the game doesn't even exist anymore. It's like, what do you actually have to show for it? Well, you know, this guy gets paid this much a year to play on YouTube. I don't really care. You know, I don't really care. Because this other guy's like a fucking sounding prince and does absolutely nothing. He gets more money. You know, it's like fucking does nothing. You know, so who cares about money specifically? You know, it only represents like what you can do, right? It's like I have a tour bus, so what? You know, it's fucking so what? It gets me from a show to another show. It's not that great, yeah. Still annoying after 2 months. Can't even shit on the fucking thing.
That's fun to push.
No, you just tell him to stop and he stops. But you know what I mean? It's like money. It's always something, right? Money.
As Pink Floyd once said.
In an argument, probably, right? Always.
Oh yeah. Oh, Roger Waters. So final question. So what's the future?
What is the future?
What is the future?
The future is everything that hasn't happened yet. The future doesn't exist until it exists. We wish the future would be over already. Everybody is fed up with the future, I think. The future, we get to watch everything that we loved as children. We get to watch everything that David Attenborough held dear and looked at with wonder disappear. There, in the future, we should have a hologram of David Attenborough talking at a blank white wall, talking about all these amazing things that don't exist anymore. This is the ocean, home to 3/4 of the Earth's fucking life forms, and all this bullshit, right? And then we just dub in realities of the future, like home to 3/4 of the world's garbage. You know, like just overdub everything to bring it up for DVDs. Yeah.
All right then.
I was just thinking the future. Like, how shitty is it going to be? Like, now that's what I call music. Fucking 2020, and it'll just be like.
That would just be that throw, just then a high pitch one.
Yeah, exactly.
And then a sloppy one.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that, right?
You gonna wear that deer hat tonight, by the way?
Should I?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Deer stalker.
Yeah, deer stalker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I will.
You do. All right. Thank you.
All right.
I'll end it there.